Hey guys, today basically we're going to do a new what if on this channel, and this what if is going to be my biggest and probably best what if series ever, because we're going to introduce new characters and try to fill up this storyline as much as possible. So this what if is, what if Avatar Aang had a twin brother? Now, that idea may seem crazy, but we're going to figure out how it actually plays out, and I think it might actually end up being a good what if. So, there's two things we can do to start the journey of this what if. We can make Avatar Aang meet up with Sokka and Katara with his twin brother, possibly leading to a scenario where it's easier to defeat the Fire Lord if Aang chooses to not fight alone, and if the twin brother fights with Aang. However, that is a boring what if, and I don't think that would really change a few things unless speed up the process for being the Fire Lord. So we're gonna go the opposite route, which is Aang not leaving. He still leaves the air temple. It's just he does not get lost in the storm. So his twin brother will be called Lion, as I think that is a pretty fitting name for the personality of this airbender in the air temple. So first we head to the backstory of Aang and Lion being born together as twins, as they are both airbenders, and they're really talented airbenders, with Aang with his air scooter and Lion with his other airbending technique, which is air jets or air propulsion. They use these airbending techniques for gliding when they do all of that. Lion is the kind of airbender with a fierce passion for airbending. Now, I know that sounds kind of like a firebender, but we're going to work with this idea, as I don't think it would influence the type of bending, as Lion is still an airbender. Now, another important detail to note is not much is known about Aang's parents, so I'm just going to say that Lion also comes along when Aang is taken away at birth. So both Lion and Aang are both the best brothers in the air temple. Now that we have a proper backstory on these characters, we head off to the point on how that will later interact with each other. So, Aang traveled to all air temples and the Earth Kingdom alongside his twin brother. I would assume they would be very friendly with each other, which is how Lion and Aang both befriended Bumi, who joked how they look roughly the same. Now we talk about the day Aang is revealed as the Avatar. It is put such a weight on Aang now that he's the Avatar and he must get busy training his airbending skills. Lion is also happy for his brother that he's the Avatar. Lion seems to be on par with Aang's airbending, or just on the point of getting more stronger than airbending, but it's not about strength, it's about technique too, as Lion is always focused on improving his airbending skills instead of playing all the time, and he's devoted to meditation and getting better training as an airbender. So he's basically a devotee to airbending. So he eventually surpasses Aang in power and keeps developing new techniques with speed and precision. So Aang eventually talks to his brother about how he doesn't want to be the Avatar, and that he wishes that his brother was the Avatar, as he always seemed willing to train. Lion comforts his brother, maybe saying it was for the greater good that Aang was the Avatar. This makes Aang feel better that he's the Avatar. So, now that the backstory is practically done, again, for what we know about Aang's life at the Air Temple, we can now talk about Aang hearing he will be sent to the Eastern Air Temple. Aang is shocked at this fact and tells his brother that he's going to leave because they're sending him off. Well, brother, I wouldn't want to get separated, so if you're going, then I'm going too. So we could travel the world and seek guidance from other nations. We could survive and maybe fulfill your destiny as the Avatar. As I feel we could do this by ourselves, says Lion. So I'm going with you, brother, says Lion again. Okay, says Aang, as they both head off into the sky with their sky bison. Now, here's where a few major things will change. Let's say that the weather is different. The storm does not happen. So Aang does not get thrown into the ocean and his avatar stay activates, forming an iceberg. So we can assume that Aang was headed to like a close place to run away. So now that his brother Lion is with him, he decides for Aang that it would be best to go to the Earth Kingdom for safety and to spend time with Bumi and his parents, as maybe they won't send us back and we can have at least a place to stay. Aang thinks this is a great idea, and the possibility that if they go to the Earth Kingdom, they will be better off there and not in the Air Temple. So they head off, a day passes, and then they reach to Omashu. So I'd like to also say that Omashu wouldn't really look that different, except for a few differences. But since I have no custom art, we're gonna go with the regular image. So we can head to the point where Aang and Lion reach the city. Now I don't think there would be guards, as there might have been a few rule changes in the last 100 years, as 100 years is a long time. So I think they would be able to freely go in the city. After that, they navigate through normal Omashu, and they then meet up with a young Bumi, explaining their problems of them leaving their home. Now, I would like to also say that since there's no information about who's Bumi's parents, or if he ever spent time around them, I will assume that he grew up with a normal life and parents, even though it was never shown in the series. So, after a discussion with Bumi's parents, they're thinking to send Aang and Lion back, but with the discussion about how the Fire Nation is planning to launch an attack a month or two from now, they would be better off safe here than in the air temples. So we cannot let these kids die due to the hands of the Fire Nation, said the father. If we do that, we would have dire consequences. Especially one of those kids is the Avatar. Another thing I would like to mention is that to distinguish the two twins, one, Aang is wearing his orange and yellow attire, and Lion is wearing a darker color, orange and yellow, that is very bright compared to Aang's clothes. So, good news, says the father, announces to Aang and Lion that they can stay. Lion and Aang are very happy that they get to spend time with Bumi, and Lion could further master airbending, which also said before he is better at airbending than Aang. Now that Lion and Aang have a home, Lion talks to Aang about the plan of learning earthbending. Lion says, Aang, if you're the Avatar, couldn't you learn a second element like earth? Aang responds, saying, maybe that is true, I could learn a new element. Well, that could be easy since we have Bumi, says Lion. Then the next element would be water. Now, for Kid Bumi, how good he would be at earthbending, considering that he was very old in Avatar, and he gained a lot of experience fighting in almost 100 years, is he basically might be nothing compared, but he could still earthbend, I guess. As we're gonna have to fill in that detail because I don't think it was ever shown in the series what age he started to earthbend. So we're gonna say in this scenario that he does know earthbending and he can teach Aang as his first trainer, student. So after that, they decide to tell Bumi in the morning, and through a fun learning experience, I would say it would be easier for Aang to learn earthbending, considering he has more people around him to help him. Also, another thing is Lion also adopts a style of earthbending and airbending. As I basically said, this airbender is basically the prodigy of the air temples. Like, he is a master at airbending, just like Aang. So Lion basically uses airbending as earthbending, as he basically practices more grounded attacks, such as, having a wider battle stance and controlling air like earth. This makes him learn a new technique called the air shield, which is a shield of air that protects people like an earth wall. And now we're going to head back to Monkey Yatso. How have they not found Aang and Lion yet? So he decides to search for Aang, but he realizes that the Avatar and Lion are safer if they hide from the inevitable attack on the air temples. So Aang and Lion are very lucky. It has been almost a month since Aang and Lion have departed. The time is almost here for the Fire Nation to strike, and Sozin is planning to use the comet for its immense firebending power. So that's really all for the what if. Next time, we'll discuss the invasion of the Fire Nation and how Aang and Lion will escape or hide. So I hope this is a good what if, as I'm trying to introduce new characters and fill in the gaps in this missing timeline.